Okay, still Saturday pre-noon walk. It's a what, 11:30, something like that. And some, updates regarding that situation in Vrhnika with the industrial accident and explosion. So yeah, one confirmed fatality, two were seriously burned. One of them was also got some internal injuries. They were both transported to our central medical institution here in Ljubljana for treatment. So there are also some photos of the scene released. So it wasn't a big warehouse, I would say 10 by 10, 10 by 20 at most, I don't know. So there was no, let's say, there was another building across like a yard, 10-20 meters across, and it was intact. So the explosion basically it leveled that building, but it didn't affect anything. Liza, paquito, nazaj. When squeezing between the bins and the post and the sign and everything. So yeah, so basically this company was actually established in 1991. So they had, a long presence in this area. So this was their first and only incident, and apparently around 50 plus firefighters were dispatched to deal with the scene. So fortunately previously the company also, I believe this is mandatory due to their business, pyrotechnics. They conducted several drills with the firefighters. Firefighters were got familiarized with the layout of their complex. So yeah, and there apparently weren't any additional negative consequences, impact on the environment or the nearby people. I assume some glass was broke, window frames were broken. Yeah, today is the day of the masks. And the American tradition is here, trick or and treating, but here we do it, they do it during the day. So yeah, and it's very uncommon. There are other traditions that we have regarding in this time of the year. So yeah, for example, I mentioned that Kuchivia incident from the last year. In that case, the factory itself was established after the Second World War, and at that time the factory was actually built outside of the urban development. So the factory was on basically industrial land. green. But of course, in the last couple of decades, city town grew, and then of course they also built up everything around the factory and of this industrial zone. And there, there were so they made sure that the water source, for the area wasn't impacted. But they still, because it was burning for some time, they advised, not to be outside, due to the fumes, the wind carrying, these chemical particles around, and don't eat the fruits and vegetables unless properly washed and so forth. So yeah, this is basically it for now. We will see if there will be any changes, also let's say to legislation, or at least urban planning and development. But here in Slovenia, and basically as same, let's say, goes for basically majority of the countries, this is responsibility of local communities. And industrial installations are always welcomed, because they bring jobs, taxes and so forth. But yeah, we will see what will happen in the future regarding this. And Lisa doesn't care. So here around us there are no such industrial installations, except we have gas distribution point, so quite about kilometer, let's say, away. So I assume, God forbid, if it goes up, I think we would be okay. Of course, all the glass would be destroyed, because even if there is aftershock, there are several other buildings between us. So yeah, unless of course flying, burning debris would hit us, that's another matter. Okay, let's end on this point.